Brody.
Brody.
How's it, bro?
Good, man. The way we are changing locations.
We will eventually find one.
We'll eventually shoot our episodes there by the mountains.
Eventually we'll tour South Africa.
Yeah, man. Housekeeping rules.
Housekeeping.
Yeah. Any thoughts, meditations, mantras?
Did you say hi to our 41 viewers?
Hi everyone.
41.
Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Our 41 subs.
Oh yeah. No, guys, I forget my manners. I need to greet. Hi everyone. This is another installation of Generation Great Podcast.
Episode 8. One thing about us.
I wish we had a jingle or a clap. Something like that. We'll work on it. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, man. This is our 8th episode. Siapusha, moving, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to mention that we are now on all social media platforms. So
exactly.
We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're also on Instagram. So don't forget to follow us on there as well.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah,
it's important for us to push the platform as much as we can. So I think that's where your contribution comes in, where you can share, like, and
please
also join the conversation.
Yeah, and also more than anything, encourage others to subscribe. Guys, you're saying, I'm subscribed. I didn't see you subscribe.
It's so
many people are saying I subscribed, but it's not reflecting. But it's okay. I digress. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah. Okay, no, man. Let's come in.
Come back.
Mantras, thoughts, anything you want to share that you learned the previous week.
Okay, so this week I was thinking about how we all have like a destination that we want to get to, right? And not understanding that life is not just a destination, it's a journey. You will reach the destination, but the journey never ends. I was thinking about that deeply. I was thinking about how the destination could be more money, a family, whatever it is, but you never just stop there. Once you get to that destination, there's still more work to be done. So that's why I'm saying you'll reach the destination, but the journey never ends. Life is that. You know, life is a non-ending journey, you know, and we keep on exploring more things about ourselves, about the people, about everything, you know, about on this life journey, you know. So it's you don't just get there and you're like, I've arrived. No, the journey. Yes, in terms of certain goals, in terms of certain things you want to achieve, you'll get there. But life itself is a non-stop journey. So I was thinking about this.
Oh man, that's very powerful. Yeah, because you never satisfied.
Yeah.
Like once you reach a milestone, you also want to go further and go reach another milestone. So that's very important. Oh man, I really and I truly understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think for me, not really mantra, but it was just a thought, you know. This week I was actually challenged in terms of like perspective, not just in my personal perspective, but also my perspective in terms of my career and all other things that I'm doing. I just realized how perspective changes and why it has to change, right? Because I've always thought like my perspective is this and I'm going to stick on it and this will never change, right? And then life just told me, perspective will change, because I think also when you get to that particular place, there are also different variables that you have to deal with. So it also forces you to adjust your perspective a bit and adjust the way you think about certain things as well,
And the way you see things.
and the way you see things,
the way you
correct?
perceive, basically.
Yeah, and then I posted a picture earlier on this week that said that there's also the beauty and the tragedy of the fact that you only really get to live this moment once. Like as we are shooting right now, this moment we are going to live it once, where the sun is like this and the variables
We are here right
and
now.
the factors that we are in are like this at this point, right? And there's so much beauty in it, but there's also so much tragedy because it's like you need to live it once and fully grasp it and enjoy it.
Can I tell you the funniest thing? I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that right now before we met.
Yeah,
That life is fleeting.
yeah,
Everything we think is important is only important at that point. After that, it's not that. Like everything is fleeting.
Yeah.
Our lives, and for me, it was. Yes, it's sad that you're going to die and people are going to forget about you, and everything that you did will not matter in the next whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But at the same time, the beauty is that you get to be present. That's the beauty of it. So
and you get to narrate your experiences in your own
on
in your own
terms.
way and in your own terms, in your own feelings and in your own presence, you know. And that's the beauty of it, that look, I can have this moment and use it wisely, or
Squander
however
it.
squander it.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's something I got and I got to utilize it, yeah, so I think that was my just thought for the week. And yeah, man.
Yeah, no, to be honest, that's good. Perspectives do change, and it changes based on where you are on your journey.
Sure.
You know, the previous beliefs and everything you held before you were here will be different when you get to that place. So it ties
Yeah.
back to what I was saying, that life is a journey. You never truly get to it, because you'll get at this place and the perspective or your beliefs or whatever it is will change. You know?
Change.
And today we'll be talking about that generational wealth.
Generational wealth, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of beliefs
Yeah.
and the things that we believe in, I think before I introduce the topic, I just also want to ask you, what is it that you understand about financial literacy? Were you ever like given
Me, personally, I was fortunate enough to inform myself, you
Yeah.
know, and learn more. What's it? Why do we have wealthy people, and why do we have the middle class? Why do we have poor people? Like, what's the difference? What
Sure.
is the other side doing that I'm not doing?
Sure.
You know, so I had to do research and learn and understand what financial literacy means.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I have somewhat. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I honestly, I think in my upbringing, it was always like kept hush hush. Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't tell people your financial status.
Yeah.
You know. So before I actually get into that, I would like just us to introduce our topic. So today we are speaking on financial literacy within the Black community, which obviously interlinks to generational wealth.
And
you know?
creating and
Recreating
And
generational
rebuilding,
and
yeah.
rebuilding. Because look, we had wealth before, in our own context, and it was taken away. But anyway, it's a story for another day. But I think the topic for today is financial literacy in the Black community,
and
hyphen the rebuilding and recreation of generational wealth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think, like I said, my perspective of finance was always like,
Hush hush.
yeah, asna mali, or like you're not allowed to share
Yeah.
how much you're getting, or you're not allowed to disclose, or you're not allowed to know the financial situation of that particular
Of
our family or abantu abadala, right?
Yeah, that's
Which has led to me having that thing of I also have to like be mindful of the fact that I can't disclose certain things, right? And a lot of the times, liberation comes from talking about your struggles.
That's
And I think with Black people,
parts.
money or finance in general, we hardly have conversations about
Taboo.
finance and how much we are struggling.
It's
'Cause
taboo.
It's taboo because it's like I can't tell you I'm struggling with saving or I'm struggling with money because you're gonna look at me a certain way, right? And it's linked to like how we feel about ourselves. Would see, like if I were to say, look, dog, I'm struggling financially, and these are the things that make me struggle financially.
And
You
there's
know,
Yakalana food.
you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what do you think is the problem in the black community insofar as finances is concerned?
I think there's not even a miseducation. There's no education whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
I think there's no education in terms of what financial literacy means. And I'm not talking about the one that we studied at school,
Yeah.
the one that your teacher teaches you about, but they're still a brokey.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the
Did you just take a
most
jab
teachers are
on
brokey.
Did-
Are brokeys. I'm talking
Oh
about
my
people who
God.
have built real wealth. I'm talking about people who own assets. I'm talking about people
yeah.
who understand how money really works. And like how money really works, not the simple interest principle amount. No, I'm not talking about. You remember that equation?
Yeah,
that
that
they
is.
use? The compound interest or
What
the
is
simple
this?
interest.
That's lit.
Yeah, maths lit.
Yeah.
Even in financial literacy,
It wasn't as lit as I wanted it to be.
It was not lit
It was
whatsoever.
not lit at all. Yeah.
In fact, it was dark.
Dog.
You know,
Yeah.
the compound interest and whatnot. That's a very small, and no, in real life that doesn't even apply. You're
Yeah.
not there putting. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I think accounting is better in terms of finances
Yeah.
compared to that type of
That type of financial literacy.
They'd say financial literacy, and they'll literally give you two equations that you'll never ever use in your life.
Yeah.
They don't apply,
And they don't apply. You're like,
they don't
it's
work.
like solving for X. I'm like, why am I solving for X? How is this
The
gonna
N,
do for
the I,
my
the P,
debts,
the S,
for my expenses?
the
You know.
principal amount. So,
But anyway, big shout out to teachers because I mean, obviously, it was a curriculum that was, and I also talk about transforming the education system
Yeah,
as well, which is part of that. Where we need to make our education system as realistic as possible,
Yeah.
and we need to transform in terms of the syllabuses and the information that we need our learners to learn.
I think we should touch on that. I think maybe in our next episodes we'll talk about the retransformation of education, because education. But right now, I want us to really talk about financial literacy, like from your viewpoint.
Yeah.
What do you understand about it?
Yeah. Look, for me, I think, and I'll speak as a black man who's in my whatever years, who's working and who understands finances, and I have bills to pay, and I have all these other things that I need to pay. I don't really think we prioritize financial literacy, or we prioritize the or we are intentional about learning about finances, because yes, we can have a budget and say on a monthly basis, this is what I need to pay, this is how much I can save, this is how much and not. But I don't really think in a context of a collective group, because the black community is a group, I don't think collectively we have figured out a way in which we can empower ourselves financially. On a personal level, you can save as much as you can, and I mean also saving has different types of investments and savings and whatever. But I think on a broader perspective, we don't really have an idea of what finance is for black people, right? And maybe that is due to, like I said, I may link it to the fact that no one wants to discuss finances because it's such an uncomfortable topic. We always think, oh no, if I'm going to discuss this with you, you're gonna then have to gauge ukuthi in ngikhola kangakanani, or how much am I making, or you know, and that's not the conversation that we are supposed to be having right now. The conversation that we're supposed to be having is how then, from where we are at this standpoint, because we're at the back foot, you know, other races are at the front because they have generational wealth already. We are still sitting there at back seat. How do we then run the race to a point where we don't have to have financial liberation personally, but have generational wealth? Because financial literacy means that it's you intentionally allowing yourself to create wealth for the next generation. It's not only just for you. You're not learning this just for yourself so that you can live a comfortable life. You are learning this so that nabaglandelayo, even the communities that you are in, you are able to empower them and leave a lasting legacy for black people, because that's simply what white people are doing. Uzofa Oppenheimer, Uzofa Van der Merwe, and then they'll have the properties and the investments that they've been creating throughout their life. So I think for me, that's where I am, where it's always very personal. It's always very, I need to do it for me, but it's never a collective, because the idea is we are so short-sighted about finance and where it needs to be. It's always like, I just need to make sure that I make it. But no, we need to make it as a collective.
Okay, you've touched on so many good points, and okay, so it's, I think the point that you made that's the most important is intention. I think as a community we lack intention in terms of asset and finance allocation. I think we want to go to groove, drink, do other dumb stuff, and not to say people shouldn't have fun, right? But we are not intentional about building the wealth that we don't have. All the other races are far ahead of us. We are losing. And it's not even funny. But watch us be wasteful. Watch us flex on other people. It doesn't make sense for me, Uguti. You are making money and you're not putting other people on just because you want to brag. You know, it doesn't make sense. Why don't you bring someone along? You know,
and not even just because I feel like someone is gonna respond and be like, no, but I have the right to also enjoy my financial freedom. But I'm just like, look, for me, it's also about what is it that you are giving back? What is it that you are to people who are like-minded and people who want to know more about finances, right? What is it that you are doing that is making sure that the black community is empowered, right? And you are not obligated to do that, but I'm saying there should be a responsibility on all. We have black billionaires, we have black millionaires. There should be a responsibility on them, and I'm not forcing them to do anything. This is in no way supposed to make them feel bad about what they've acquired, but there's a responsibility to also look back and be like, oh, okay, black people are also at the, you know, at the bottom of the barrel. What can we do about that? You know?
Okay, so with that, I think there's certain, there's so many black billionaires and millionaires. We can talk about how they gain that wealth.
Yeah.
I think outside of politics, there are very few who gain that wealth in a proper way. You know? And again, I think it's not even it's an uneducation. Like we literally don't have the education. I think the basic part that we should start at before looking at those people, I think we should educate ourselves first and understand what is money.
Sure.
People don't understand what money is.
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand currency. They don't understand that. They don't understand how to assign money to what needs to be done, and they don't understand finances in general, the flow of money. Where does money go? We don't understand the basic thing. Okay, the money I'm getting paid because what is money? What is currency? Where does it come from? I think that's what we should understand first, because once we understand, we can now know how to continue to build the wealth that we're talking about. So my thing is the education part.
Yeah.
if we could educate ourselves first, and then we build from education. So we learn, we have knowledge, and then we start, okay, since I understand how money works, how do I now start acquiring the assets?
Sure.
Or how do we now work together?
Yeah.
Since we're all educated, how do we now work together as a community
Yeah.
and start purchasing assets, right? And then
Yeah.
from purchasing assets, we start investing. So it's
Yeah.
a basic. I think we should start from the ground level, because the more assets we have, then we have things to pass on to the next generation.
Sure.
That's how we break the chain.
And we can have more assets and not know what to do with those
Exactly.
assets because there's no, like you said, literacy.
There's no literacy, because
for our finances.
so why do we have so many people who win lottery, who win Powerball, whatever they win, but they
Yeah.
broke after 3.2? I think
Sure.
they said the statistic is
Yeah.
most people who win lotto are broker than they've ever been after 2.5 years or something, 2 point something years. It only takes you 2 years to be I blew it, and that's why shows like I blew it exist.
And I've never seen an eye. Okay, people are gonna say I'm comparing, but I've never seen an eye blue episode
Of a Chinese
of a
man.
Chinese man,
white
or white man,
or in India.
But anyway, speaking of things that we could do as a black community to sort of curb this obviously illiteracy that is related to money. I also just want to touch on our spending habits, because I think for us as black people, our spending habits are crazy for people who are disadvantaged,
Who don't have the money.
who don't have money, you know? And like I said, because we are not, I do get the psychological part of it, because when you've never experienced something, when you are coming from a place of lack, it's very easy for you to get accustomed to life, acquired taste in life, and end up spending money that you think you have or you don't have, or spending money because for you it fulfills something inside of
And
you.
it's
to
a
say, look,
reward. What's your
it's a reward. I'm like, yo,
yeah.
dala ngihlupheka, right?
It's a reward. Yeah.
And also that's the psychology of it for me. I want us to speak about our spending habits and how maybe that could contribute to us not achieving our financial goals. Because look, to our other counterparts, I could see them investing in certain things that are worthwhile, right? I see our habits are more focused on entertainment and which, by the way, I don't have a problem with. But I'm just saying, Uti, generational. I wish there could be like a course where we could all just go in and sit down and sort of discuss how generational wealth is acquired, and how is it that we are in this much debt. How is it that as black people we are the majority of, like, the majority of the people that are in corporate are black people, but they don't have anything to show for it except for coming back and paying bills. So the system also oppresses us in a sense that we don't get the same rights and we don't get the same benefits as white people. Example, the West Bank saga, where we are charged interest rate that is crazy as compared to other the races. So the system does not even allow us.
That's not the only instant. The most recent one is the insurance payout, which Old Mutual was supposed to pay someone out, I think, for their education fund or something.
Exactly.
And they didn't get that. And there's so many instances of that happening. So
my thing is, then the system already does not allow us, or does not want us to have wealth, right? But we are also not intentional about acquiring wealth and learning about wealth, So my thing is, then, do you think our spending habits are also contribute to how we have not been successful in terms of acquiring wealth?
Okay, it goes back to the zero education. And remember, let's just think about this. In the past, our way of being wealthy was different from now, and I mean as like black people.
Sure.
Back then, wealth was inkomo,
Yeah.
inkomo and stuff.
Which I still think
Yeah,
is quite.
Yeah.
Because
inkomo and your farm, and I think that's the wealth we know. So now, since wealth has drastically changed in terms of having assets, we don't know what assets mean. You see, I think that's what we should look at. And we're talking about rebuilding. That also will mean re-identifying what is that wealth for black people.
exactly. That's
I
actually
think-
where I wanted us to go.
I think we should also do that. I think we should re-identify what does wealth mean for us black people, because a lot of people are not. Again, it goes back to the uneducation. Is it miseducation? I don't want to say miseducation. We're not educated at all about creating wealth. That's why again I'll go back to the point of how many episodes of people we've seen on I Blew It. And it's not because they're dumb or anything. They genuinely don't know what to do with money.
With the money.
And the amount of money that they get is, and again it goes back to the psychological part that you spoke about. I'm getting 14 million. I've never had it. Of course I want to enjoy it. I want to drink. And also I want status by entertaining other people also. I want at my expense, and I want people to do what to say. I'm tough money spend. I forgot who that guy is. Money maker.
Money maker. Yeah.
Something like that.
Sure.
You want that. So the psychological part is so important.
That you want to feel a certain way.
Yep. So
you want to feel superior.
You want to feel superior.
At your financial
exactly.
experience.
So before you've never had first, right? You've never had. So the moment you have, you want to indulge in things that you've never had.
And attach your thing, your value
to the things.
Sure.
To the things, and then you'll get status, and then by getting the status, you feel superior to other people, and then now everyone else is inferior to you because of the money you've acquired. But I don't think you've acquired it. You just won it. Luck just was on your side,
Yeah.
So I think we should also work on the psychological part. As you're saying, the psychological part goes hand in hand with our education.
Yeah.
I think we should take a step back and really try and understand why do black people spend the way they do, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
why. Also, it doesn't help that our salaries are shitty. It also
Right.
doesn't help,
Yeah.
and it doesn't help that there's unemployment. So now you have to spread your salary across 5 people lately, So
Yeah.
I think that's also a challenge that we have. We can't build without, how do we build without having money? How do we build without having enough?
Yeah. Sorry,
just continue.
to interject.
Mm.
I was actually gonna go there. My point was gonna be like, we hear a lot of people speaking on investing and speaking on buy shares wherever. You must invest in property. You must invest in 1, 2, 3. And for me, it's not quite easy for black people to invest in those sectors or in those businesses, because obviously you are working against a system that is not designed to allow you to invest. Look, for instance, you just touched on, we don't earn enough to even be thinking about investments because it's hand to mouth, right? And it's always about getting money, getting paid, and paying bills, right? And the system has consistently allowed us to be in a loop where we get whatever amount we get paid, we pay debts, we want to work more, work hard, and
Therefore, the
and
red race.
and also we want to reward ourselves, which puts us back into the debt that we're trying to run away from. So then we need to stay in a system that keeps
The
us
red race.
right.
You just literally
It's a
described the
red
red race.
Yeah.
You just described the
So
red race.
for me, it's like I don't have enough to invest, and I hear you are talking about investments and financial literacy, but Muzokala Gupi as just a random person who doesn't have enough, right? And my go-to plan was, I honestly wish that we could explore the Stockville route, right? As black people, because I think that used to work for us, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe that is something we need to really, really properly explore. And
Walking in daylight, things are coming true. Good things are coming your way. We'll be okay. Work on your dreams. You gotta find what you need. You gotta push for that dream.
yeah, so I think with Stockfels, man, we had a good thing going there.
We have a good.
I just
thing
think-
going there, yeah.
If we as black people could, as a collective, come up with
Galvanize.
ways of buying land, buying property, having Stockfels where we can say, look, we don't want to be tied by the system, Yama Bank, and all these red tapes that are there in terms of like credit and credit score and whatnot. If you have a specific desire in terms of a goal that you want to achieve, we can collectively assist you in obtaining that, because that is essentially what Stockfels are, where we are saying, because we are struggling to save
have a-
money individually,
We have a common.
we
goal.
have a common goal of what is it that
Of
we
buying
want to,
groceries.
of what we want to achieve. We'll save all these amounts that you could have saved for yourself, and when we then sort of redistribute those funds, they go in and achieve that goal, which is to buy groceries. But we can do it on a bigger scale, where we can say, look, every year we are buying property, and this is how much we are saving as a black community.
We are buying farms.
We're buying farms,
We're buying cattle, property. We're buying whatever it
we're
is.
buying shares.
We're buying shares.
Right.
As if- yeah.
Because I think that's where wealth for us is.
I think so. I was telling my friend that that's where a lot of money is, and we don't realize it. I was telling G that I want to open. Okay, I shouldn't talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, I think, like you said, the intention is also to have a system which collectively allows us to acquire an asset without having to incur interest.
Yeah.
Because
And
that's where banks
are making
money.
Yeah.
Because of the interest that they are getting, we are at a point where we are unable to even pay off those loans because the interest is so high. You end up paying 3 million for a property that was like 1 million. So understand that if we had a system that could allow us to just go and buy that property and then you continue, but obviously it needs to be regulated because
sure. We don't want people now abusing their power or abusing the resources. You know, I think that's also a thing that we have to look at. I don't think we also trust each other. I think that we should also talk about the lack of trust, and not because of it's valid because of how people behave when they start handling money. Like they have that thing. So again, it's important that we'll need people to regulate and people to audit. For the Stockfel or whatever it is that we decide. I think also, as Stockfel, since it's such a great business model, it's such a great. They've even taken it. They've called it crowdfunding. It's crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is nothing more than a Stockfel.
Exactly.
So now they've used a different word for it. They've just called it crowdfunding, but it's still a Stockfel. We come together. We support your goal. That's what crowdfunding is. That's what Stockfel. The difference is we all come together. We have a common goal to achieve whatever it is. But mind you, Stockfel says they buy booze, they buy food, they buy groceries for December, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. But on a bigger scale, it could achieve
way more.
Right?
Yes. It could achieve way more on a bigger scale. I think we should, but also I think we should also. what is wealth for us?
For us.
what
Yeah.
should we look at? Because these other races are building like companies. When are we building our own? You know, have you? I think
But we are,
maybe you.
but we are in a
about-
loophole of working for them. I think that's also the
Oh,
lack of risk that we want to take, because we don't want to take risk in starting our own things, because we just like, but what if I don't make it? But what if you do make it? I think a lot of the times we have ideas, because look, a lot of people are filled with knowledge, man. I've come across brilliant black people, and I've seen how they could actually achieve a lot more if they actually started. But you see what they are being overutilized and underpaid. And imagine if you had such brilliance, but you are also contributing to your own things, because it's your own legacy. We don't know things about intellectual property. You know, I was doing a short course this week on copyright, trademarks, trade law, intellectual property. A lot of the things that are in the entertainment industry, we don't commercialize. There are certain things that we don't own. You know, we don't know what ownership is
Yes.
for us as black people, which goes back to what you were saying, that wealth for us is still vague. It's still, mango nemali ngena. No,
that is my.
you see white people invest in paintings, white people would go into other things, and you would think someone is rich, and that's even how they would move money. Where they would move money in a painting, they would move money
Clean money,
in non-cash format, right? And they would move money in terms of like property and in certain investments, and you see which they sort of understand what value is, what value of money is for them, right?
You're making a very good point. We don't understand the value of money, bro. We don't understand. But so again, it goes back to what the education. I think we should learn about money,
Sure.
where it comes from, what it is, and then that is going to allow us now to move forward from everything. And also the lack of willingness to risk. We don't want to risk. We are so comfortable in
Yeah.
in getting salaries and wage. And also, I don't want to fall people. I think that's the same from, because right now we are only now just getting to, to really get to participate. Not even because we don't get much participation, but we're only now just getting to be free and stuff.
Yeah.
So it only.
So we are
makes sense.
liberating ourselves
Exactly.
mentally, which allows us to also liberate ourselves financially.
Yeah, we're only now getting to that place where we can enjoy ourselves, So
Sure.
I think there's also a problem of overindulgence. I think there should be a limit. Okay, it's been 30 years since we've had this freedom, and
Let's regulate our spending habits.
exactly. And since now we know, that we want to rebuild, because there's been so much conversation about, yes, let's create generational wealth, but again, we don't have a plan. So on top of having bad spending habits, first, on top of having no education, we have no spending habits, and we don't have a plan. But we'll keep on talking about, I'm building generation. I hear so many
And
black
the
people
word-
talking about building generational wealth, but they don't have a plan. What is the plan?
Exactly. I like how you led that thing to like having a plan, because by virtue of the term generation,
Yep. There has to
Generation-
be a plan.
there has to be a plan for
how-
the generation that is to come. We're not just speaking wealth. Like I said, it's not personal wealth, it's generational wealth. So which means whatever you're doing, and generational wealth is very difficult to acquire in a lifetime. If you want your great grand kids to get your, because it means you need to work extra hard and ensure that your kids are also aligned in terms of what is wealth for them. So the education that you are saying we need to also instill in our kids, because if we're going to create a generation of people who are wealthy, we need to educate all these generations on how to keep the wealth that is
Multiply.
created and multiply it. So we then need to be like the sacrificial lamb or the seed where we plant these ideas, we plant these ideas and these creation models
Yeah.
where we're saying, look, we are going to create it like this, and it needs to filter down to all these other generations. Because if you want to say for your kids now, if you want your kids to live a comfortable life in this current economy, Cyril Ramaphosa, and we have these spending habits, and we still don't want to save, and we still don't want to have these uncomfortable conversations, we are fighting and winning a losing battle.
And I just want to go back to the point where we look. It's crazy to me that people now they want the life, but they're not willing to put in the hard work. We have to work
Sure.
for that generational wealth, and also the other races. It's fantastically easy. We should also model what the other races are doing. The Indians do it. Everyone is doing it. If for example, an Indian parent owns a shop, they literally take their kids to work every day, so the kid can learn about the business, you know, and that's going to be passed on. And then you see now they have big furniture stores or clothing stores or whatever. It's literally been passed on, and
it's a legacy. Because it's a legacy, you were taught
exactly
at first hand.
at first hand.
This
And
is
you
how
start
it works.
at the lowest.
At the lowest form.
At the lowest, you start being a sales representative, or you start at the counter to understand what's okay. When someone pays, this is how I give them change. This is how. But we don't
And
have
repetition.
that. Exactly.
And what makes habit is repetition.
Yep.
So if you constantly repeat, or you constantly instill in your kids that if you want to make money, this is how money is made in a business. This is the value of money. Then it becomes second nature to them. So it's like,
Exactly.
oh, I know what is that I need to do.
Imagine the other races are doing that at a bigger scales, like at bigger scale. That's why they're able to get into higher positions, right? Because they understand whatever
Succession.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they understand the field earlier on. They understand everything at a very young age. So now you're like, how is he a CEO at 25 or something? They've been training him. They've been priming him up for the.
Yeah.
They've literally been priming him up for the role.
Yeah.
You know,
So
as
there's a
opposed to us.
succession plan that
Yep.
comes in terms of from this person who has this power, or this person who's in this position. There's a plan for you as a kid to
There is
say,
succession
you're going
planning.
you're going to be under the succession plan where I'll obviously have to die at some point.
Yeah.
I'll have to retire. You'll have to take over, and we don't have things like that.
That's again, it goes back to my question about what is our plan of passing on, because once we've acquired the assets and everything, what's the plan for the next generation, you know?
Sure. Okay, I also wanna ask you a question that is not really. It's relevant, but who has been your inspiration, in terms of financial literacy? Who has?
I'll start you in South Africa. I'll say VT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, VT. And then there's so many other people. I think Alex Hormozi, Petros Coulier. There's so many people because I've read so many books and I watch so many people. I'll also mention Andrew Tate, Top G. You know, those are the people that I learned from. You know, there's so many people that, and also, again, they talk about we don't know. So we don't understand that. But once you start getting the thing that we have to understand is to be liquid. Once you're liquid, you start investing in the things.
Sure.
So it's cash first, and then you have trust funds and things black people don't know. We just think, hey, more millionaire, you're just a millionaire. We don't understand things like trust funds, unit trust. We don't understand those things. We don't know those things. We don't know how those things work. We don't know how.
We don't even understand a simple concept of wills. It shocks me that people don't understand the impact of wills and, like you say, trust funds.
Yeah.
And what is trust in general.
We don't understand that, and what are holding trust, like those things. I could go deep into that, but I think we should just, and also to show that we can't even fathom when a person says I have a net worth of 150 million. We're like, imagine God, and we think physical cash. It's not physical. It is an accumulation of your assets.
Yeah.
Again, it's a small thing, but we don't understand that. People think when you see someone's net worth, when they say Elon Musk is worth $250 billion US, no, it does not work like that. You know, they're talking about the businesses he's built, the assets, and also it's an estimation, it's not real.
It's not real, yeah.
And also we also have to understand that, yes, this is why assets are important, because once you sell the assets, you can get liquid again.
Sure.
You know? So again, it goes back to the information. I think we don't have.
But also, like, look, I do get why a lot of people also would have that perception, right? Because look, at a bigger scale, we still don't know what wealth is.
Yeah.
Like in the mainstream, because obviously you and I are educated in terms of like finance and like all these things, investments and stuff like that. But SA where literacy does not get to people the same way that you'd have to go and look for financial advice or seek financial advice to know your position or to know what is going on, right? And like this conversation, like I said, it's very close to my heart because it really speaks to the fact that a lot of the times we miss out on opportunities to make money, not because we don't want to,
but because we
don't know, and we don't even have the right people to go to say, look, teach me how this works and teach me how money works, teach me how I could invest, teach me how I could save.
And we don't even understand inflation. We're just saying extra inflation. What does that even mean? You have to understand. I think we should understand every part of money and how money works. Therefore, we can make informed decisions about our spending habits and about, because I think also before we go into Stokvel, I think charity again begins at home. As you are saying, I'm struggling with Imali. How do I now fix this? Let me follow the budget first. Even money that's left over for me to invest in the Stokvel and the Stokvel, and then we're able to build from that. I think it also starts with personal financial accountability.
I think for me, the person that has inspired me the most is my grandmother.
Is it?
Because she used to create, which is like mind-blowing when I think about it, because she used to create umuthi womkhuhlane. She had a specific way in which she could mix certain things to create umkhuhlane, and that shit works because it was manje, and then in the next 5 hours umkhuhlane is gone, and she would sell it. But I think the amount in which she was selling it was very little, because I used to tell her, like, you could have made a lot of money, and she passed on that information to like my mom and my aunts, who I'm just like always like, guys, but do you realize how much value that is? Because also in terms of passing down wealth, it doesn't also have to be money, or
it could be intellectual property.
It could be intellectual property,
that part
where you are showing me what is it that I need to do to create a makambi. There's a certain there are remedies that aren't mainstream that I could create that could help people. There are people who have indigenous knowledge in terms of how to mix herbs and stuff like that. I always wonder why we don't have that in SA, where we have to export our herbs and spices and stuff like that.
Instead, we have to go outside of South Africa to get a COVID vaccine,
right,
and have 8 booster injections when we can.
And you're telling me eucalyptus can assist you with flu? What the eucalyptus has been something that that's why we're not sure of the space that we're in and the value of the knowledge that we have. Because I also want to touch on that, Uti. There's quite a lot of black people who have farms and who have knowledge about how certain systems work,
Yeah.
but they are not willing to understand the value or the impact at a global scale.
So again, it goes back to the uneducation. They don't understand how. They know that okay, ngiyakhona ukwenza le account, kodwa there's also branding, there's also marketing, there's also wholesale, retail. They don't understand those things. With all those things, they create you wealth. You know. So I think again, we don't. You could be able. You could have a skill. You could have a product that you could offer to the world and create so much value. But since you don't understand how Ugokwako could create
That cough mixture.
that cough mixture.
Yeah.
If she had you as ID, you were young in, it's okay, Koko, we're going to package
Yeah, at
this.
the time I was also like, just
You
like,
You see,
I was also
so,
in my like, you know.
so in terms of that, I've also had like various family members who are brilliant at a lot of things. And no, this thing you branded,
Commercialize.
you can you use TikTok to you use TikTok to market. You don't need any money. You just need, but again, people don't understand.
But there are courses you could go to for that could help you articulate in a manner that could get your point across.
And
I think that's
we
where
live in a time where it's so easy to get information. People don't live on the internet enough. People are just ignorant. I think
people just don't know where to look. Because for me, it's not. I mean, information is everything is exposed, right? But I think people just don't know where to look for that information or how to utilize that information.
Filter the information according to what you need from it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for me to. I want to go back to the example you made about it doesn't make sense for me waiting if you maybe a scientific way of formulating that thing. No, it doesn't make sense. My thing would be, okay, this is how this is created, this is how I brand it, this is how I market it, this is how I run ads on Facebook, this is how this is how I push it to retail. That information is there online. So according to what you have and what you want to monetize, seek information on that and understand the steps and the necessary requirements to sell the thing, to sell the information, to sell the idea. Because again, you made so many points that wealth does not have to be money only. It's property, it's intellectual property, it's art. For me, to this day, I still can't fathom how art is wealth. But you get people saying, nah, that art painting is worth 200 million, and you're like, what? And
it's wealth that cannot be taxed.
Exactly.
That's also another thing where we need to know which items can be taxed and which. Because, Nami, that's something I really want to learn. Where I need to know how to also move money.
In a way that you don't get taxed,
I actually don't get taxed.
And get very affected by.
You get it, because I mean the market is volatile and there's so many things that could happen. So in the economic space, there's also those risks that are there, but you also need to be in that space to learn those risks, because you can't live from a place or trade from a place of fear. But you need to understand, which in the economic market or in this market, these are the issues that people face, and based on my knowledge or based on other people's knowledge, I've come to realize that these are the losses that we incur, these are the loopholes, right? But on a very light note, because I think we can just speak on this topic for days. I just want us to wrap it up and maybe just, do you have any just in a short summary, ways in which we can actually empower ourselves insofar as financial literacy is concerned?
I think if you have a product or a skill or whatever it is that you have, first, do not be afraid to commercialize it. Don't work for free. Don't give people free services or free products. Learn as much as you can about it, and then commercialize it and sell it first, because that is the wealth that you'll be passing on to, so I want to tie it back. And also, I think we should be intentional about money and everything that we do. I think it's in this time that we're living right now, it's so easy to get information, again, the right information, in as much as there's so much information. Even there is free sources of information. You just have to go on YouTube, TikTok, wherever you can go and get proper information about where does money come from, what is money, how do I invest in assets even though I don't have, how do I make the smallest investment as possible to get such and such return. I think we should educate ourselves individually and holistically as a community about wealth first, about understanding how money moves, where it goes, and then after that I think we should have a collective goal as Black people. This is the direction we want to take, this is what we want to invest in, this is what we want to achieve, this is how we pass on the wealth, because all the other races are doing it. I think it's sad. I think it's our own ignorance. We're not lazy, we're not dumb, we're just ignorant. I think we don't, and we are the hardest working group, but we're getting the worst end of the stick. So I think that's what I'd say. I'd say more, but what's your closing?
Dude, look, for me it's quite simple. One, let's continue with stokvels, but also we need to modernize them. We need to ensure that they are proper. They are regulated properly, so that we can and the regulation not in the Western sense, right? Regulation in the sense that we don't also play each other. But we need to have more stokvels that are going to make us acquire meaningful wealth, right? Firstly, before stokvels, we need to then define what is wealth for us. For us, we need to know what is it that we consider wealth, and from that, create stokvels that are going to ensure that if we are in a group of 10 or in a group of 20, we could collectively, because look, thousands of people could keep a 1 million uwedo, but if we had like a collective of people abakhona who have that specific amount, abangafaka mhlambe leyo 10 rand or the 20 rand or the 1,000 rand, in 1 million we could easily achieve it, right? And that is how and this ties to my next point, which is entrepreneurship, where we need to also create instances where we create businesses where money rotates around us as a Black community, because
we didn't touch
we
didn't touch on that. We're also
that.
supposed to talk about how Ikiba stays in it rotates in other races longer than it does in ours.
So for me is like the biggest hub in terms of like wealth, right? So we need to figure out how we could rotate that money and bring it back to us, because it's all about
make it work for us.
And that's what Indian people are doing, because there will be someone. I was so shocked to China Morbuti. They would refer you to someone who's selling that particular thing. I'm not sure if I was looking for these mics. And then they were like, oh, Smang Mang has that. Only to find out that actually these people there's a shop that they own where they store those stuff. And I was like, oh man, this is such a great idea, because they sell different types of items. They also know which, for logistics or things that relates to lighting and whatnot, these are the people. And it goes back to like, we need to educate ourselves about things such as drop shipping and things that don't require money, which is like in your store. But it's things that we could,
like online
business
models. Right now, crypto is on a bull run. I'm just going to say, if you have money, invest.
You know what I mean?
This is not financial disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Go do your research, but crypto is on a bull run.
So I think
those are the
entrepreneurship.
And we don't understand. And again, right now, since money is changing, fiat currency is moving out. The future of money is in crypto. I think we, as Black people, we should educate ourselves on
what is it for us, and not just go and invest with some other company which is going to take our money and educate yourself and have enough knowledge to say, look, if I'm going to seek advice, I'm going to seek advice from a registered financial service provider,
And
or I have enough knowledge to actually try and trade
Yep.
or do whatever. So those are 3 points: Stokvels, entrepreneurship, and we need to know how money circulates
Yep.
around each other,
bro,
and also don't just invest. Learn more about investments. Learn more about the type of investment that is conducive for you, because angikwazi ukucompete nofandi Merve who's investing millions, and I mean I have like 500.
Exactly.
I need to know the channels in which I could make sure that my 500 rand gives me
A return on investment.
what is it? ROI.
Yeah.
You know, it gives me that ROI ngendlela yami,
Yeah.
right? So
Have to wrap it up, bro.
yo man, there's so much to
We
talk
have
about,
so
but
much, but
we need to also get the public's opinion, and I think this is a conversation that
it's so deep.
we need to have these conversations, guys. So I plead with you guys to go on our social media platforms to also just give us ideas in terms of how we could, you know, Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah.
How are you? I'm trying to be so professional.
I know.
It's just like,
You're doing a good job at it.
yeah, that's- yeah, man. Please introduce yourself.
Naledi,
Yeah,
she is very close friend.
Yeah.
And I'm also a lash technician.
yeah,
On my own small business.
yeah. Yeah, no, thank you so much, man. So one of the conversations we were discussing today was around wealth, particularly in the Black community, and how to recreate and create wealth, you know, and as well as financial literacy, you know. As someone who's just said now you own a small business, what would be your opinion in terms of how we can rebuild or create wealth?
I think more than anything, I'd say independence. And that's the one thing that with us Black people fear.
Yeah.
We have this mentality that I need to go to school, and after school,
Yeah.
I need to work for somebody. You know,
Yeah.
nobody goes to school, and then when they're done, they're like, let me start my own thing.
Yeah.
They feel like they need to start their own thing once they failed getting employment, or, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like with wealth,
Yeah.
like it or not, you're going to have to start something for yourself. You're going to
Yeah.
have to build it for yourself, especially if you don't have generational wealth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the one thing that we need is a wake-up call of independence, because I don't understand how a population of so many people is dependent on such a tiny population for employment.
Yeah.
Understand? So, the Black race population is quite high, and I think most Black people need to wake up and start something for themselves. And it's not necessarily maybe selling or starting a beauty business, but whatever that you're starting, you can probably start something along those lines. You don't have to wait.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like commercially acceptable work, because people just think I must just be in the office and whatnot, and they don't want to have skills.
Genuinely, like we're programmed
Yeah.
like that from school. Everybody, when you're done, it's like, I have to be a doctor, I'll be in an office, and that's it. There's anything after that, it means I've failed.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a wake up, be independent, start your own thing, and start building generational wealth.
Okay.
Your
No.
own.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Are you on any social media platforms?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram,
Yeah.
The Lash House, and I'm on TikTok, The Lash House.
Okay. No, definitely
I
will
don't
take
think
it.
I should share my cell number here.
No. There are people there
That
might still
You know,
your numbers.
that are waiting.
Don't worry, we have your numbers. They must just go and watch Generation Great.
Yeah, but in that specific topic, that is my opinion. People just need to start their own things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, thank you so much, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for being available.
Don't worry, I'll be sending my invoice very soon.
Okay, cool. How are you, my brother?
Fine, and you, sir?
Good, man. My name is Sia. Can you please introduce yourself?
Oh, nice to meet you, Sia. My name is Katleho Dlamini.
Oh, yeah, man. So we are Generation Great Podcast. As you can see, we are a platform where we want to have powerful and empowering conversations for the Black community.
Yes, sir.
And one of the topics that we're discussing today centers around wealth for the Black community. So it's how to create and how to define Black wealth.
Yes,
You
sir.
know,
Yes, sir.
and obviously that also includes financial literacy in that whole
Yes,
basket.
yes, sir.
So, what are your views in terms of how we can recreate and build wealth as a black community?
Like Itumeleng said previously, the importance of like recreating and reestablishing
Sure.
is through how we also invest the money, where the money goes.
Yeah.
And if we are given, especially if we are given the tools to like create whatever bank that you want to
Yeah.
create, whether it's money or
Yeah.
whatever the case is,
Sure.
So I'd say that it's really essential as to where that money goes and if it's spent wisely,
Yeah.
like for example, like giving someone money and spending it on the wrong things, but they say that they're struggling, but
They go in and
They-
go and buy
they
other things.
they go and buy other things,
Yeah,
things like that. But
Sure. So
I'd
you're
say
saying we need to take the money that we have and invest it in things that are positive that
Yes.
give us better returns as
yes
a black
yes
community.
yes especially like for the black community, like you said, like I feel like he was also trying to explain like the other people in that live in the projects too,
Sure.
like he said that we don't have, especially on the like the black community side, it like I've also seen it that like we don't have like enough, I think, support as well,
Yeah.
like we
So
don't come
basically
from the
we-
same
we-
homes,
Yeah, we don't have enough to invest, so we need to work with what we have.
Yes, that especially like working on how you have, but I feel like the key part to it is like the financial literacy, like you're saying, like how we invest the money, how we save it, especially if you're saving it, and where it's going
Sure.
is how it will determine the the rising of the capital.
Sure.
That will determine whether it goes high or low.
Sure.
Is how it's we have to look at how it comes in and how it goes
It
out.
goes out,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Yes.
Sure. I know,
So-
man. Thank you so much. You're spot on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Do you want to just maybe share something with the public in terms of? Are you on? Oh, look, I must
Yes.
also ask you. Are you on any social media platforms?
Yes, I'm on Instagram,
Instagram.
Facebook, and Twitter X.
Twitter. Okay,
Yes.
no, we'll tag you when
Okay.
this comes out. Sure, brother.
How are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. Yeah.
Itumeleng. My name is Itumeleng.
Your name is Dumeleng. Thanks, Dumeleng.
Yeah.
Look, man, we were just having a conversation here regarding financial literacy for black people and accumulation of wealth
Yeah.
and rebuilding wealth for black people.
Okay.
So what we want now is your view on how we could better do that, because I mean there's quite a lot of information that we don't have that we still need to have as black people. So
That's
what
true.
are your views?
Okay. Now that's a very interesting topic. Well, where I'd like to begin, we as not to be racist or anything, but we as black children, we first need to understand that life is not fair.
Sure.
Life is not the same for everyone, and
Sure.
no one has a definite way.
Yeah.
If there's no way, create your own way. Like example, that we have people who dropped out of school,
Sure.
but they are sitting at high positions. We have those who went to school but are not achieving much. I'm not
Yeah.
disregarding don't go to school.
Yeah.
But like example, there's so many opportunities, right? In economics, where there's a demand, you can supply.
Sure.
So a simple thing, you could have a car wash, a
Sure.
mobile car wash, or property,
Yeah.
or buy a vehicle and sign it up for Uber, you understand? So
Yeah.
like now we are stuck in this era where we now want to buy just to show that
Yeah.
I can do it. But no,
Not to commercialize things.
Yeah,
We
not-
buy things because we want to show off, not
Exactly.
to commercialize.
like example, your phone. Your phone can either be an asset or a liability,
Sure.
depending on what you use it for. Your phone can actually bring you more money. It connects you to a better network, because we do know your network is equals your net worth.
Yeah.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future, I'll show you what you are capable of.
Yeah.
So like property, business, just learn.
Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah.
Property, land, go to school. Go to school.
Yeah.
But don't just go small-minded saying you want to be an employee.
Yeah.
Because like actually learn whatever industry you want to go in, and now start in the bottom, and once you're in the system,
Sure.
you know how to work your way to the top.
Sure.
It's all about that.
Yeah.
So like we should make better financial decisions in terms of where our money goes and what is the purpose of the money going out. You
Sure.
understand?
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
your money, it's an investment. You plant that seed, it should come back tenfold.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? So whatever we spend our money on, it should be with the intentions to bring back more.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yes.
No, thank you so much,
Yes.
man. You've said a lot.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, man, for this time, taking the time to really educate us. Because I think what you said, I really resonate with that. We need to be intentional about how we spend our money and how we plant it, and how we also need to take into account that it needs to return to us
Yes.
tenfold.
And
So,
furthermore, if there is no way, create a way. And our biggest asset is our age, guys.
sure.
While you are still young, while you have the energy, grasp as much information as you can. And rise, dear black child. Rise.
Thank
It's your
you.
time. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Good. Before I forget, come to Nkanyeli Homes. We are situated here in Ellen Manor. Just come and get your dream home, guys. Since we're talking about financial freedom and how to redistribute wealth amongst ourselves. So, like now, I work here as I'm a sales rep at Nkanyeli Homes. You can check us out on Facebook. We're also out in Masiza Heights. Please, guys, just come through. As soon as you come here, you'll find me waiting for you. And before I forget, dear black child, before you forget, put God in your hustle. And the most important decision you can do after choosing God is the partner you choose. Because who you keep in your circle can determine if you make it or you fall down. Don't give up, just look up. Tell God how your problems are. Tell your problems how big your God is. One love, guys. Signing out.